Stephen, just hold your breath a little bit because I want to take you back first to 2017 before we come to talk about COVID-19. Your life with or your experience actually with COVID-19. How was it? Because I saw you in 2017. If I have to take you back, you wanted to go for an MP seat in Githunguri in 2017.
Yes, in fact, I've aspirant MP for 2 times. In 2015, in 2013, I was also a candidate for MP in Githunguri. I didn't manage. I finished that, and it's a bit hard when you come from diaspora. But again, I tried in 2017. But again, I finished that. I don't know what the reason why I always finish that, but I'm sure one day I'll be there. But without going into politics, the reason why I want to be an MP and I insist is that I want to help my people. I've grown up in that constituency in Kiambu district. And I've seen from when we had Grole as Kiambu, but things have deteriorated very much, and I think it's because of bad leadership. And I don't want to be seen as talking politics, but just to mention that bad leadership in a country, in a county, in a ward, in a constituency will bring the country on knees.
Okay.
And again, just again to mention, and it's just the time also. I don't want people to see as if it's not time to do politics. It's time for us politicking. It's time for us to fight these violence together. Because if we start politicking, then the violence will finish us.
We as diasporians, I can say, because now we are not in Kenya or we are not in Africa down there. Considering you being part that now you're living in France, what's your take for the stranded Kenyans in China and what the government is doing? Somebody asked this, and I think you will have to say, because the president said he will help them come back home, but on their own cost. Do you think that this is right?
I don't think. I think first I want to thank the government, because bringing people is one thing. And the payment is another thing. We should not mix these things together. So the government is playing its part, and then they should have done that from the beginning. You know, not putting in praise, you know, how to bring, because other countries did so. But during that time, and I'm sorry to say that, and I have nothing with foreign affairs or the embassy, when African countries were taking out their people, our embassy and our ministry was pointing finger to our fellow diaspora that they don't have papers. Yet you don't have papers. You are in the US, you are in Qatar, you are in China, you are in Singapore, you are Kenyan. And Kenya has a responsibility to protect all Kenyans, and not all Kenyans equally. We are not, diaspora are not that class citizens. They are not second class citizens. We are good when we are sending our remittances. Okay, we have been called all sort of, we have been given all sort of titles, like ambassadors of in those countries, the 48th country, and just also to mention, we have a diaspora policy which was signed in 2014, and nothing has, that policy is getting dust in somewhere in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Myself and other Kenyans, we fought for the dual citizenship. We fought for the votes of Kenyans, and my name and among others. We were in their own Professor Guy's draft constitution at Bomas that time, and I was fighting the same tenacity I have today is the same tenacity I had that time. And I still continue, because I've written so many letters, I've written articles, I've sent grievances from the diaspora that as a country we should go the way countries like China and even other poor countries. They have created a Ministry of Diaspora Affairs. A Ministry of Diaspora Affairs which will be able to deal with the diaspora issues, grievances, protect their interests here and back home. And when there are issues like what we are seeing in China, it would not have been an issue. The Ministry of Diaspora Affairs, which will be separated from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, would have dealt with that issue. And why am I saying so? Because you and I, you who is in Germany, you who is in America, you the Kenyan who is in Britain, you are conversant. You are conversant with the culture of that country. You know, you speak the language. Okay, so why should we have diplomatic staffs who do not even speak a word in Russian, while we have Kenyans who speak Russian? Why should the government bring somebody who is a communication attaché? Okay, and you don't speak Chinese, my friend. How can you gather information? How can you gather information if you don't understand the language? It's common sense, my brother, and I'm saying that with a lot of I'm saying that with a lot of humility. But I think it's time. With this coronavirus, it has taught us a lot.
I remember we are on Facebook Live talking to Stephen N. Kinuthia, the COVID-19 survivor. And if you are watching us on Facebook, you can actually see Stephen N. Kinuthia. And if you are listening to us on 99.2 FM, thank you so much. Yes, and as we were talking to Stephen,
yes,
we always know we have heard your story about how you had this COVID-19. We have had a short story of you from the news. You have read everything about you. You kept us online, informing us how your health was doing. I have only one question about all this. Why did you decide to come to public on it?
I came to public first. I don't want to, now we had that story how I contracted. Now I would like to tell people why I went public. One is when I was taken to hospital, I knew in my mind I knew there was no medication. I knew that people are dying a lot and hospitals are congested. And just to have some figures, today in France we have 130,000 people who are confirmed. 130,000. We have 46 who we have 46 who have recovered. 46,000 people. 46,000 people. Okay, we have 26,000, more than 26,000 people who have died in France. In America, we have 1.3 million today confirmed. Okay, 118. Just to give figures so that people can understand my point. We have 118,000 recovered. But we have 59,000 people who are dead in our country, dear brothers and sisters. Because you have to listen to me. In Kenya, we have 374 confirmed. We have 124 who have recovered. And we have 14 who are dead. We should not start having fanfare because we have 124 who are recovered. I'm part of those who have survived the coronavirus. And it's only people who have suffered from coronavirus and who went the hell of pain and death trap of this disease who can talk. Others can, this is not malaria. This is not just a flu. It's something which you lose hope. And with a lot of, mental torture. I can tell you before even I went on air about my story on a hospital bed. I had written to a friend, and he knows himself because he's a prominent person. I wrote a message and say, I was admitted, I contracted COVID-19. I was admitted at St. Louis Hospital in Paris. Please note that if I don't come back, my children might need you. So you can think why, that message is very strong because I knew I was not coming back. Now the reason why I went on air and I went public, because that morning after getting some treatment and going a lot of pain and hell agony, I opened my phone and I saw people in Mombasa at the ferry on landing with the police.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I have heard in Italy and what we have experienced in Europe, I knew people, sometimes this democracy, in the name of democracy, you are told that stay home. But you tell the government, I'm not going to stay home. So you contract the disease, you die, or you take the disease to your family. So is democracy going to save your life? When you are dead, are you going to have that democracy? So be alive to be able to fight for democracy. Be alive to be able to fight for your life. So that's why I say it, because you are dying. Please send a message. Tell Kenyans that this is bad news. This disease is bad news. Tell Kenyans that if they don't take precautions, we are all going to die. And that's the message I had. I didn't even knew. I didn't know that the message will go viral. But it went viral. I understand that more than 7 million Kenyans have watched that video. Okay, if in those 7 million Kenyans, if I saved even one life, or somebody said, "Oh, this guy, we know him, and now he's in shit. He's in bad shape. Let me take his precautions." I pray God that my message will be heard by so many people and will save lives. Because we are told, and this is not something very hard. Wash your hands. Very simple things. You wash your hands. But on this COVID-19, let us take frequent washing our hands, because you don't know what you have. Maintain social distance. Okay, avoid touching your eyes, because this thing, when you have the virus, you touch your eyes or the mouth, you are done. Okay.
Yeah.
Try to practice some respiratory, exercises. Try to be more sportive. As a country, we have a very bad lifestyle. We want to. Unataka kuwa mkubwa. You want to eat and be shown that public opinion. That one is a problem. Health. We should take care of our health. We should be able to take, to do some exercises. And also, again, I challenged the government and also the ministry concerned. We need, as a people, to start telling people sports for health. To find ile maisha ya mwili. Because I survived because I'm a sportive guy. And and if people have fever, have some cough, don't hide yourself. Just go see a doctor. Get some. Stay home. The government, the president, and the ministry, CS Kagwe and his team, or even Kebicho and the CS Matiang'i, they have no reason to tell you, to punish you. Telling you to stay home is avoiding the dynamic spread of the COVID-19. And in this one, countries in Europe, they are in Germany. Why in France? Why in other countries, people expect, is the best practice, it's common sense. You are told that you are going to die and you want to face the death. Now, this ignorance of Kenyans, because we have as a people. And I think Kenyans, we are own enemies. We are our own enemies. You are told there's COVID-19 which is going to kill you. And you want to go out, you want to go pass through Panya route to take the disease in Ugenya or Kakamega or Turkana. You are just a criminal. You are a serial killer yourself, because you have contracted the disease, but you want to transmit that disease to other people. If you want to die, die alone. And I'm asking the government should be very strict. If anyone, if Kenodia try to behave you want to spread the disease in the whole country, isolate me until the pandemic is over. That's what I can say. Because we cannot continue pembelezaling watu and who will finish the country. And my brother, for information, and people should understand, we are told by WHO and other United Nations bodies that if we don't take necessary precaution, Africa will lose 3.3 million people. I'm saying 3.3 million people. In Kenya, our CS, because he's informed, he said if we don't take necessary precautions and hit the government security measures, we are going to lose 28,000 to 30,000 people. Okay? Now, my question, you who is asking, why Kinuthia sent the message, why Kinuthia is talking about protecting ourselves or taking prevention measures. Do you want to be part of that 28,000 when we'll count deaths and, the losses? Do you want your children, your mother, your grandmother, your father, your aunt, your village, your schoolmate, be part of those 28,000 people? Ask that question and let us pray together. Let us be serious. And Kenyans, time has come to change our mindset. The don't care attitude, hiyo lazima ikwishe. And again, I'm so happy that millions of Kenyans have started understanding that these diseases is bad news. Okay, but I want to tell people and ask people very humbly to help those who are disadvantaged in our society. Give a helping hand. We are in the same problem, but there are people who are down there, the orphans, the old people, the sick people, the the people with disability. Okay, people are suffering during lockdown. So if you are able to help, if you are able to give some hunger,
to a certain question, you have seen French doctors and the Oxford team. They wanted to do this test of COVID-19 in Africa. Can you tell us what's your take on that before we come to the letter you sent?
I don't know I do not want to speak vulgar language, but these people can go to hell. Africa and Africans, we are not guinea pigs. Okay, the time of the corona time is over. Those people who are having a corona hangover, they should go to hell. Okay, if we want to test a vaccine in any African country, including Kenya, in any African country, including Kenya, they should follow due procedure. They should. We have KEMRI in Kenya. We have other research institutions in other countries. They should follow the due procedure. There are protocols. Before you apply a vaccine to a human being, it has a process. They should follow that process. They should follow that procedure. And it's a shame that since Africa, we scientists. We have scientists and professors and people with great mind. Where are they when we are being bastardized by the foreign scientists? A scientist goes to BBC or any other station and telling us that Kenya is so desperate and they have malaria and prostitution, so we are considering testing a vaccine. Kiss my ass. I can say that, and I don't miss my word. Kenya and African countries and African people, we have our own dignity and we should be respected. We respect everybody. But from now, the developed countries should understand that Africa is not a colony of any country. We might have problems. We have our problems. Yeah, Africa is breathing. It's breathing because of our bad leadership and corruption. That one I can, But we have diseases. We have Ebola. We have famine. We have floods. We have our own problems. But let us not be used as if we are not human beings. We are human beings like anyone. And if anyone wants to test any product, not even a vaccine, a consumer product, follow the due procedures. Okay, that's what I can say to all African leaders, including Kenya. They should protect their people. They should protect the dignity of our African people. And as Africans, we should now come together, join the former ambassador of the African Union. And again, African Union should also call the African diaspora de facto leaders and sit down. We need to be represented in in the African Union. Why should we bring old people who do not even understand about the diaspora? They do not understand anything about, the vaccine or the hell we are going through. We need the current president of South Africa, who is the chairman of the OAU. If he hears me, let him understand that as African diaspora leaders, we need our voice to be heard at the OAU, and we want to sit on that OAU parliament.
Thank you. And how did you manage the hospital bill? Because that's what people actually really want to know. Did you manage it yourself? Are you assisted by the insurance? Do you have any bill that is pending? If you can tell the viewers, the listeners, so that we may know if you may get help, if there is.
Yeah. This coronavirus, and people should understand the minimum in Europe. The minimum you can pay the bill. The bill, if you have coronavirus and you are taken to the process of hospital, the minimum bill is 34,000 euros. Okay, that's the minimum. 34,000 euros, not Kenya shillings, not okay. And for my stay, like the stay I stayed, for all those days, you count about 52,000 euros. Okay, but here I was lucky. I have an insurance. I have what you call complementary insurance. The government is taking the biggest chunk of that money. So in the first place, I thought I didn't have any bill because, okay, you come out of hospital and you had spent 52,000 euro, and it's paid by the government. Hallelujah. And I'm at home. I started taking my medication, self-quarantine for another 10 days, because from 14 I stayed in self-quarantine for 14 days. Okay. But the day before yesterday, I got a bill of 6,000, 6,078. And I wondered, what is this? But from the bill, they are telling me to pay before the 10th of May. And from what I look at the bill, I said, why should I pay? And again, even if I'm supposed to pay, I did not have a 6,000 somewhere, as I take and give to the government or give to the Ministry of Health here. So I have a 6,078,000 euro pending on a supplementary bill. And that, I think, is the amount which is not either covered by the insurance or by the government. But I've the people from diaspora giving me different views. But the system in Germany and in America or in Italy is not the same as in France. So I have to follow to try and see call. But before I call, everything is closed. To get them on phone is a bit difficult. And I decided just to ask, to do an appeal to well-wishers, my fellow Kenyans who would wish to help, because I think it's on the way. And I have, there's an M-Pesa number. If anyone wants to help, there's an M-Pesa number. You can pay a pay bill. You go to M-Pesa pay bill 89 13 00. Okay, pay bill number, M-Pesa pay bill number 89 13 00. Account number is 40101 40101 40 That's the account number, and you put the amount you want to help me. You can also dial star 483 star 57 star 40101 hash. I repeat, you dial star 83 star 57 star 40 hash. Okay,
thank you.
You help whatever you want. You are depending on. But again, I'm telling my fellow Kenyans, I never thought that I'll have that bill. I'll try to solve it. but to tell Kenyans that this thing of COVID-19, it's also a big business with the insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies. So being somebody who has survived and now spending all that money and and getting another bill, I think people should understand it's a big business worldwide. And for the word, before I finish, I would like to thank all Kenyans. I would like to thank all people who have prayed for me, prayed with me, my family members, you, the media. I don't want to miss anyone. You have, you have been fantastic. I became an ambassador of hope because of you. People have started saying, you are the ambassador. You tell us what we want to hear. And I will thank you all for what you have done. I also want to thank the doctors worldwide, okay, including in Kenya, and France for what they have done. And they are doing a noble job, and we should understand the medical profession is it's not a profession. It's something which is, because somebody coming from leaving his children, you are going to treat people who might contract you the disease and you die. And we have seen doctors, nurses, medical teams dying of this disease. So I'll thank everybody, and we must learn something from the medical people, that solidarity, helping one another, give a helping hand. It's something which is very important, and that's why we must, as Kenyans, build a chain of solidarity, to help one another, to help our brothers and sisters, and we must be our brothers and sisters keepers.
Thank you so much.
And we must, for the last, because since I survived, I'm telling Kenyans and the world that we must kneel down, ask God for forgiveness. Let us kneel down, ask God for forgiveness. It's not normal that we had famine, we had floods, we had locusts, we had COVID-19, and now we have Nairobi eyes in Kericho and other parts of the country. God is not happy. We must ask for forgiveness and ask God not to judge us with bitterness. So I'll tell my fellow Kenyans who are listening worldwide, and thank you very much, Lady Maisha, for having invited me to talk to my people, to talk to the world, that I am well. I'm going tomorrow for some electrocardio and nasal tests to see whether the virus is gone. But I'm well, I'm at home, I'm now mixing with my family, and nitawambia asante sana, and God will bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking to us, and thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us, to talk to the world, to talk to Kenyans, to talk to Africans, wherever they are listening to us from. And I think we shall get you next time on us so that you can tell us how you're faring. And for those who want to help Mr. Stephen Kinuthia to clear her bill, he has given us our pay bill number 891300, and the account number is 401101. And you can dial *83 *57 *40101 hash to help him at least clear his hospital bill after COVID-19. We thank you so much for joining us today, and until next time, we shall talk, and stay blessed, stay back home, sanitized again, and keep yourself safe and keep your family safe. Thank you for talking to Radio R.
Same to you, everybody. Stay safe, protect yourself, protect your family, protect people around you, and God will bless you, and thank you. Asante sana.